We live in a world where there are so many opinions and so many thoughts and so much advice. People are very quick to repeat information that they've heard or give advice for things that they've seen other people do. And in a lot of ways, that's very good. We have access to knowledge and wisdom that we have not had access to in previous times in human history. But a danger of that, of course, is that anybody can be an armchair expert at anything without any knowledge or experience. And I have found in my life that some of the biggest mistakes that I've made, or the biggest challenging seasons that I found myself in, have been the result of me taking advice from people who actually weren't living what they were offering me in way of advice. One time I took weightlifting and exercise advice from a friend of mine who had previously been an athlete, but was in that time actively not pursuing physical fitness in any way. And I ended up gaining a lot of weight that was not healthy weight as a result of his advice, and unshockingly ended up taking on a lot of his physical fitness attributes rather than my own goals. And it actually took me kind of taking a step away from what he had advised me to do and learning from people who are professional fitness coaches who operate from science and their own experiences as a coach. It took me taking their advice to get back on track. Another great example is that people are very quick to offer advice when it comes to relationships or friendships or family. And yet, if you took a look at their friends or their family or their relationships, there is a high level of unhealth or unhealthy communication, or they don't actually have deep connections and healthy connections with the people that they are in relationship with. And so it's just important that when we are paying attention to the people who we're taking advice from, that we take note of what their lives look like, what their relationships look like. Are they aware of even the disconnects between their advice and the lives that they're living? And it's important to remember too that we don't have to apply all advice that is given to us. We also need to make sure that we are doing the work to do the research for ourselves. Increasingly, it is becoming more and more important that we are checking our facts. And if we're not doing that, then we may find that we end up in situations that we don't want to be in. So take advice, get wisdom from people, because it's really important to not go through life based on your own good ideas, but also make sure that you're paying attention to the lives of the people you're getting advice from, and make note of what it would look like to and also always follow up and do research on the back end from people whose job it is to do what they're doing, to be sure that the research and advice that you're being provided is reliable. It'll set you up for a much higher level of success in your life. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voice Memos from a Therapist. I'm Graham McBride, a licensed professional counselor associate, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss our next memo when it comes out, always on Monday mornings. Just a reminder, the content in these podcasts is just my own opinions. They should not be considered therapeutic counsel or advice. And as always, I reserve the right to continue to learn and grow, as I hope that we all are. If you have further questions, feel free to find me on social media at gmc.counseling. This podcast is also available on YouTube if you're more of a video person, along with some longer form content. And finally, if you would like to learn more about what was discussed today, you can find more details in the show notes. As always, I hope you have an amazing day.